Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Jonesy Jones, and welcome to the first ever solo episode of Respectful Wrestling Discourse. So this is a little project that we've decided to do amongst each of us. Um, Obviously, my colleagues are not here today. Usually, I am joined alongside the ever astute Billy Collins, Ryan Remy Alberts, and Adam Contreras. However, I am not joined by them today since this is a solo episode, a little something that we're trying out here so that each of us can express our individuality without the interference from other members. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, something I like to do is talk about wrestling from back in the day, different eras, going back in time and talking about wrestling in the past. So, what we got here today is a classic pay per view. And I'd like to go tell this story of why I'm talking about this particular pay per view. So, Secret Santa just happened for Christmas. And, I've always had an affinity for the WWE Network. As a wrestling fan, I've always grown up watching wrestling DVDs and, collecting them and stuff and getting into the older material. And, this was before the WWE Network. I've been a wrestling fan for about 8 years now. And, well, it gave me something to do, collecting action figures, playing with belts and stuff. There's not much that a 21-year-old wrestling fan these days can really do and still brag about it. Oh, look at my action figures. Look at my, whatever. So I've always had a knack, ever since I got back into wrestling, since the network came out, to still collect DVDs, because it's a little something for me to do. Which, kind of irks some of my wrestling brethren who, will walk up to me. They'll tug my shoulder and they'll say, Jonesy, you have the network. And then I'll be like, oh, well, excuse me, Mr. Fun Police. But I digress. So fast forward to this Secret Santa. I got my one friend some stuff. My other friend got some stuff. So Adam turned out to be my Secret Santa. And what he got me were 2 DVDs. I won't say what one of them was. I'll keep it a surprise for a future episode, maybe, I don't know. But the one that he gave me was the pay-per-view that we will be talking about today, New Year's Revolution 2005. I should mention before we get into this, he went as far as to go inside of the DVD and write down the inscription, Jonesy, you have the network. So I thank you for that, because now I've gotten my first title to review here today. So we're going to see how this goes and take it from there. So the New Year's Revolution series is a little odd, the timing of it especially. See, it takes place between Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble, aka the armpit of the WWE pay-per-view calendar. It's because if you look at the pay-per-view calendar from the original brand split, it goes Survivor Series, which is double branded, then Armageddon, which is a SmackDown show, then you jump to the Royal Rumble, which is double branded, then No Way Out, which is also SmackDown, then WrestleMania. So you've gone through 3 big 3 shows without a Raw pay-per-view. Enter New Year's Revolution. They made it in 2005. They killed it in 2007. It used to be the home of the Elimination Chamber match, and then ECW screwed it up, and then the December to Dismember happened. They had the Chamber. The 2007 edition didn't have one. Yada yada yada. It ended. Enough talking about that. Let's get right into this card. So we open this lovely pay-per-view. By the way, this is the first WWE pay-per-view to ever take place in the country of Puerto Rico, which is coincidental since my friend is Puerto Rican. Hey-o! But anyways, so we open the show with a World Tag Team title match. The reigning champions, William Regal and Eugene, defending against the challengers, Christian and Tyson Tomko. So, I didn't really think a lot going into this match. It sounds like, like on paper, it sounds like a TV match. It really does. When you compare it to what the rest of the pay-per-view is going to be like, it's really, really good. On its own, it's not that bad. You get some really good, technical mat wrestling from William Regal and Christian. Tomko gets some stuff in. Eugene is very over at this point. He was so over. Like in today's society, people would pan him for the underlying definition of his character, but back then he was really, really over. So we have this match, and everyone's getting their stuff in. It's going all good. Towards the end of the match, Eugene goes for a drop kick onto Christian, but then he lands wrong on his knee. I think it was like his one leg landed on top of the other leg, and in the process, Eugene would go on to, I believe he dislocated his patella, and because of that, he landed on the ground very awkwardly. Everyone kind of scrambled with the finish. Tomko and Christian just kind of clothesline Regal over the top rope. Eugene rolls up Tomko, grabs his tights. You see his butt crack for a second. Haha, all that good stuff. He rolls him up, 1, 2, 3, and they retain the tag team championship. And it's a shame. It's like, this match got some good time. I've got the Wikipedia article up here just in case I screw up all my factual information. This match ran for a total of 12 minutes and 12 seconds, so it got a really solid amount of time for a pay-per-view match, all things considered. It just sucks, though. That Eugene's injury had to happen right here, right now, in what was his only pay-per-view title defense. All things considered, though, it was a fine, solid match. Nothing flashy, nothing over the top. So I'm going to go ahead and give this match a solid 2 stars, which, if we're comparing it to the out of 10 scale, is like a 4, which doesn't sound great, but 2 stars is usually average, so I'm explaining this, but I'm not going to go overly into detail with this as we go down the road. So then, Regal and Eugene are freaking out. Eugene's getting medical attention. We see Christian go backstage, and we see him talk to Edge. Because Edge and Christian used to be friends, or brothers, or whatever. I don't know. So, my apologies, folks. So then what happens is Christian tries to convince Edge to escape the Elimination Chamber because, Shawn Michaels is the guest referee. They've been feuding since Taboo Tuesday, and HBK isn't going to let Edge win the world title. So Edge is like, all right, I'll go along with it. So, camera cuts over to some stuff. Oh, and there's a running theme in this show. I don't know if it's like an aesthetic thing or like just WWE based humor. I don't know. They keep teasing the fact that it's like, we're in Puerto Rico, which is, it's funny because all the fans are in snowy conditions in the United States, and it's like, whoa. So yeah, and there are like all these segments across the show where we see like divas like Maria Kanellis and Christy Hemme, and they're in bikinis and getting suntan lotion rubbed on them, which is, your traditional humor back then. Speaking of women's wrestling, so we get a women's title match next, and it's between Lita and Trish Stratus. Now, on paper, this sounds like it would be an easy contender for match of the night or some kind of a classic matchup. That's not exactly what happens. So the match starts out, fine enough. They're doing their own thing, and not even a minute into the match, like a couple of seconds, Trish is outside the ring. Lita is on like the ring apron, and she flies across the air, tries to do like some kind of a crossbody or whatever, lands wrong on her left leg. I think it was her left leg, and she's clutching her leg, and everything just goes to hell. Lita hits the chick kick and rolls her up at 3 minutes and 46 seconds. So Trish is now a 6-time women's champion, and it's again, it's a shame, this match, like, at least the tag team title match got some solid time in. This one just didn't. It really didn't, because you get injured like 3 minutes in, or not even 3 minutes, a minute into the match. What can you do? So I'm gonna go ahead and give this match 1/4 of a star. I've always been told that I'm generous with my star ratings and everything. I'm trying not to be here. I'm understanding, like, they got to start, so I'm not going to be super harsh on this match, but just damn, though, just damn, this could have been such a good match. Jerry Lawler starts freaking out and starts calling this a cursed pay-per-view. Everyone's on their toes, wondering, oh my god, everyone's getting injured left and right, rah. So let me open up this here DVD to see what's next. So Edge and Christian go backstage to Eric Bischoff's office, and they keep going up to Eric Bischoff and asking him if Christian can take Edge's spot in the Elimination Chamber match. He turns it down, which, these are heels asking another heel for a favor. You would think, oh, the heel's just gonna follow along with it because he's a heel himself. But, it's understandable. He's an authority figure. He's going to keep the show running. Yeah, I get that. I get that. So it makes sense. Plus, it's like, it hasn't always gone over well when someone's advertised for the chamber and then it turns out, oh, wait, we can't put them in because they can't wrestle and they just do extreme spots. Sebo. No, but, yeah, so trucking along here, this next match, just I'm gonna get a little heated over the next few minutes about this match. So the next match is Shelton Benjamin defending the WWE Intercontinental title against Maven. Shelton Benjamin had a pretty good run as the Intercontinental champion. He had that match with Chris Jericho at Taboo Tuesday. He had that match with Christian at Survivor Series. He had that other match with Jericho at Backlash. He had a good run as the Intercontinental champion. And this just looks like another night, Maven is a solid competitor. He's a good guy, hardcore champion. He does one hell of a dropkick. He eliminated The Undertaker at the Rumble and WrestleMania with Goldust and all that good stuff. So Maven kind of falls off the card a little. He gets a big push around like early 2002, all that stuff I said. Falls off the card a little bit. Then in late 2004, he bounces back. He's in the main event of Survivor Series, albeit the fact that Maven got attacked before his spot in the Survivor Series match, and then he comes out, and then he gets beat up by Triple H a minute into it. He still headlined a pay-per-view. And Snitsky too, but we'll talk about him later. So then Maven wrestles Triple H for the world title, all that stuff. And then they really can't decide what else to do with Maven, so they decide to turn him heel. Which, that has potential. A Maven heel turn has potential. However, this I felt like was not a super strong way to do it. And I don't know if this is just to fill time or what, but you just buried Maven. You guys will know what I mean when I talk about this. So we get this Intercontinental title match. The bell rings. We get some scuffling around, all that. And then Maven rolls out of the ring. And this is like 10, 30 seconds into the match, maybe. I don't know. And Maven rolls out of the ring. And he's like playing around the crowd, teasing with the crowd, eating up the match time. I think he rolls back into the ring and then rolls back out and keeps teasing that he's going to wrestle, but he doesn't actually wrestle. And then he grabs like a chair, stands on it, gets up on his soapbox, and then grabs the microphone and starts berating the crowd for chanting in Spanish rather than English. Now I believe Maven knows some English here, but it's like I'm sorry, Spanish. It's like he's saying some Spanish words to the crowd, but he's demanding that they chant in English, and this takes up the whole match. Like how me talking about this match is taking up the whole podcast. But hey, irony aside, so Maven is eating up the match. Shelton Benjamin's like, hey man, whoa, hey man. So then Maven's like, you know what, screw this. He walks out and he's about to pass up an opportunity to be Intercontinental Champion. He's on his way out. He decides to run back into the ring to try to get a running start on Shelton Benjamin. Immediately, he gets rolled up, 1, 2, 3, and Shelton Benjamin is still the Intercontinental Champion. It's like, I get it that you're building a chicken shit heel. I get that. But if you're going to go out of your way to eat up the majority of a pay-per-view match, when you've got a weak pay-per-view as is to begin with, and you guys will know what I mean a little later on, you know, it just dawns on me. It dawns on me that they would pull this type of thing. I guess, you know, it's like, oh, well, Maven wasn't going to win the title anyway, so why not just have fun with him? You know, I'm the kind of guy that watches wrestling for the wrestling aspect. And, you know, when you take that away from someone and just strip them down of that aspect in the middle of a pay-per-view, that kind of sets me off a little. I don't know if I'm just being a negative Nancy here, but that's just my opinion. And it's not even enough. So Shelton Benjamin walks out with the Intercontinental title, and Maven grabs the microphone, and he begins to call Shelton Benjamin a chicken. I believe the crowd was chanting the word pollo to Maven earlier, which is the Spanish translation of chicken, but I digress. He says something like, we have a women's champion here on Raw, and you and her have something in common. Neither of you have any jueves. So then Shelton gets all pissed off, and then we get Shelton Benjamin versus Maven 2. So then bell rings, Shelton Benjamin hits Maven with a T-bone suplex, 1, 2, 3, and he's still champion. It's like, you know, I have nothing wrong. I have nothing wrong with Shelton Benjamin's Intercontinental title run. I think the kid was great, and you know, he's a phenomenal wrestler. But I think, but like, I think Maven should have been given the opportunity to put on a good performance here. I personally think, you know, this should have been a 10-minute like competitive match. I know that seems really dry, but like, but I'm just saying. You know, this match really burned my biscuits here, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a nice, spicy -2 stars. Oy, oy, oy. Rant aside, we truck along this lovely pay-per-view with Muhammad Hassan versus Daivari. Let me try that again. Jerry the King Lawler versus Muhammad Hassan. All right. Yeah. So, first off, we get an interview from Muhammad Hassan early on. It was a good interview. I thought he dragged on for a little bit. The interview goes on for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes, and it's like he drones on about going to Puerto Rico and how everyone's second-class citizens and how they treat him badly like everyone in America does, and yada 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 yada. And it's like, you know, this guy is good on the mic. I don't have very many problems with the promo. It's just, it dragged on a little bit. I don't know. I just felt like it dragged on for a little while. It could have been cut down, maybe to give more time to the Intercontinental title match. But hey, that's just me. So Lawler and Hassan, they get started, you know. Oh, by the way, there's no commentary on this match, so so bell rings. This whole match is just a cavalcade of holding and resting and holding and resting and holding and resting and holding and resting and holding and resting. So yeah. So that's the whole match. The Hassan will hold Jerry Lawler down for several minutes, and then he'll stand up, and then Davari will do stuff with Jim Ross, and really, it's just a very clunky, miscalculated match. The crowd chants boring, you know, because nothing's happening. There's no exciting spots. There's no technical mastery going on here. And it's not to discredit Muhammad Hassan. I'm just saying maybe it wasn't the best choice to pair him up with a commentator. No disrespect to Jerry the King Lawler. I'm just saying maybe pair him up with a credible mid-carder on the Raw roster. You can see things are a little scarce right now, considering that they've got all their big, credible stars competing in the Elimination Chamber match, to the point where they had to resort to Jerry the King Lawler to fill the card. So dire straits, but hey. What was the finish of this match? I think Jim Ross is fighting with one of them outside, and then Hassan is able to catch Jerry Lawler in the ring and puts him in his finisher. I don't know what it's called. Lawler passes, taps out, whatever, and Hassan wins. This would go on to be Muhammad Hassan's only pay-per-view victory in his WWE career. He would go on to lose a tag team match at Backlash, and then The Undertaker would literally kill him at the Great American Bash, and that was that. So, yeah. I mean, it was a match. It was a 10-minute match, but really no substance to it whatsoever. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a nice spicy 1/4 of a star. So then we move to our semi-main event, unless... Oh, wait. We see Batista backstage. He's getting interviewed by Todd Grissom or whatever his name was, about winning the world title or whatever. The story back here is, so Orton's out of Evolution. Right now it's Batista, Trips, and Rick, and we see all this teasing going on that Batista's going to leave Evolution, yada, yada, yada. And this is sort of like one of the last hurrahs of Batista's Evolution run before he jumps the gun and then goes to the world title and goes to SmackDown, blah, 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 blah. So he gets interviewed about winning the world title, and I believe Randy Orton walks up to him and he's like, you can't let Hunter win the world title, and all this stuff. So Batista's like, you'll see what happens out there, and Orton's like, and then they're both like, So then we jump to the semi-main event, which is Cain versus Snitsky. So Cain versus Snitsky. So Cain, let's backtrack on this. So Cain beat Matt Hardy at SummerSlam to marry Lita, who was carrying Cain's child. But then Snitsky hits Cain with a chair in a match, and Cain lands on top of Lita, killing her baby. The baby is dead, and then Cain and Snitsky have a match at a Taboo Tuesday. Snitsky beats Cain, hospitalizes him, all that stuff, and then he's torturing Lita, and he's doing all this nasty stuff. It wasn't my fault, and all that stuff. And then Cain returns, and then that sets up this match. So, a lengthy storyline going into it. The women's title match had a great storyline with with Trish and Lita headlining Raw, and kind of going off the side of the Cain Snitsky angle a little bit. But we all know what happened with the women's title match because I just told you. But anyways, so Cain and Snitsky. Yeah. So this whole match was just a lot of lumbering around, a lot of slow movements. I thought they did fine for what it was worth. It wasn't a stellar performance. It really wasn't. This one thing. So Cain does that thing where he gets up, and he flings up out of nowhere like Undertaker does. Snitsky kicks him down. Cain gets up again. Then he kicks him down. Then Snitsky gets up, or Cain gets up, and it's like it's things like that. It's things like that that really kind of pull in your audience. Yin versus Yang, one against the other. Cain wins with the Tombstone Pile Driver. Really kind of it's like it's not flat out terrible. It's not super great. I wouldn't even go as far as to say it's average either. I wouldn't say it's flat out terrible, but again, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a star and a half. Um, it finished off their story. Well, technically, this Kanan Snitsky were supposed to go to WrestleMania. It would have been Cain and Undertaker against Snitsky and Heinrich because Cain and Snitsky were feuding on Raw, Undertaker and Heinrich were feuding on SmackDown, and that whole thing. And it just didn't work out because Cain and Heinrich and Snitsky were both really really green wrestlers. So so in the end, it just didn't work out. But hey, we got Undertaker and Orton and Cain and Money in the Bank and Snitsky and Heinrich in the Battle Royal, so everybody wins. But I digress. Blah, blah, blah. We get this poolside chicken fight thing. We get more sexy stuff from the divas. Blah blah blah. Val Venus is playing with a pool raft. We get a poolside chicken fight. Yeah. I shouldn't go into detail about this because it's a backstage segment, but whatever. So like, Candice Michelle and the Hurricane versus Stacy Keibler and Val Venus against Rosie and you know what? I can't even remember. I think it was like Rob Conway and Maria, and then Rosie and Christy Hemme. Yeah. Those were the combinations. So the Hurricane and Candice Michelle are out, and then Stacy Val are out, and then Christy Hemme pulls on Maria's top and then pushes her and then all that stuff. Oh, and Simon Dean's there too, and he pushes the guy in the pool because, hey, comedy in WWE, but whatever. So yeah, before the main event, Triple H walks up to Batista and he's like giving him the business because Batista was like, I'm going to become the world champion, maybe. Who knows? You'll see what happens. And Batista's like, hey man, I got your back. Unless you get eliminated before I get in there. Because like Batista won a qualifying match or something on Raw to go out and to enter the match last after everyone else has been in it. So we fast forward to the Elimination Chamber match. And the story here is that Edge and Chris Benoit wrestled for the world title on Monday Night Raw. And one of them taps out while the other one is pinned. That vacates the title. There's no world champion at this point. So Eric Bischoff sets up the Elimination Chamber match for the world title. Triple H, Batista, Edge, Randy Orton, Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit. And also, Shawn Michaels is the special guest referee because, hey, why not? all the guys get their stuff ready to go. They're building it up on Raw. I thought they built this match up really, really well. It's really the only super notable match of the pay-per-view. The other matches just kind of happen. Really not a strong show if you've caught on at this point. So let me think. So everyone makes their entrances, yada yada yada. And the first two starting the match are Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit. So Jericho and Benoit start off the match with some beautiful mat wrestling. They're beating the crap out of each other, and it's going great. Headbutts flying, holds going. Everyone else is waiting in their chambers. I thought that was a really good way to start off the match because, Benoit already has time with the title, and Jericho is in the mid card, so they're not going to put the belt on either of them. So I think these two guys starting off the match and just doing what they do best was a really good way to kick things off. So then Triple H enters and just starts kicking the crap out of everyone. I believe he was the one that caused Chris Benoit to bleed. Benoit starts bleeding all over the place because, of course, he does. So then what happens is that these guys just continuously kick the crap out of each other. Edge enters the match, and then we get some more in-brawling. And then Randy Orton enters the match. Over the course of time, Jericho starts to bleed, Hunter starts to bleed, Orton starts to bleed. Everyone starts bleeding all over the place. It's great. One of the spots of the match that I really enjoyed was Chris Benoit gets up to the top of the chamber pod and then hits the flying headbutt on, I believe, Triple H. I could be wrong on that, but I think it was Triple H. I thought that was great. I thought that was the spot of the night. So the first elimination. So Edge and Shawn Michaels are feuding at the time because Edge came out and cost Shawn Michaels the world title at Taboo Tuesday. So Edge goes to spear Randy Orton, I think. Randy Orton ducks out of the way, and Edge inadvertently spears Shawn Michaels. So then Edge tries to pin Orton or whatever, and then he's yelling at Shawn Michaels that he got in the way, and he's all in his face. So then Shawn Michaels decides to retaliate and hits him with sweet chin music, and then I believe it was Jericho. Okay, so yeah, Jericho rolls him up. 1, 2, 3. Edge is the first one eliminated. That was great. That was a great way that they did it, and it really helped set up their match at the 2005 Royal Rumble. So, way to go for that. So then the second elimination. Oh yeah, that's great. So, Batista gives a spine buster to Chris Benoit, and then Chris Jericho runs up to Batista, and Batista gives him a spine buster on top of Benoit, and then pins Chris Benoit. I thought that was really great. I really hope I didn't mix that up. Pinned after a spine buster to Jericho onto Benoit. Okay, yeah, that's right. I'm on Wikipedia here. I'm fact checking this. I'm not gonna use my mental instincts. I'm doing my own thing here. So yeah, we go down to the final four here, and so Batista eliminates Jericho with the Batista bomb, of course. 1, 2, 3. Batista, Orton, and Triple H are left. Batista and Triple H basically spend the majority of the remainder of the match just attacking Orton, just pummeling the crap out of him. Batista, it's being teased that he's turning heel or turning face, but it hasn't happened yet, so we're still gonna keep him on heel, but that's okay. So yeah, so Orton fights back because rebellious babyface or whatever. So then Triple H, I'm sorry, Randy Orton is able to hit the RKO on Batista and eliminates him from the match, which is perfect because, it makes sense. You don't want Triple H and Batista fighting over it and then, spoiling the tension going into WrestleMania. So Orton eliminates Batista, and then Triple H and Randy just beat the crap out of each other for the last couple of minutes of the match before Randy Orton gets pinned by Triple H with the pedigree, 1, 2, 3, and Triple H is still World Heavyweight Champion. Oh wait, actually, he wins the title. I don't remember exactly if this is. I believe he said it was his 11th world title, 10th or 11th. I don't remember. So, so overall, this was a great match. Some great mat wrestling. Over the course of it, really the highlight of the show. I'm gonna give this one a solid 4 1/4 stars. You know, it's the match of the night. It really is. So that closes out the show for us. Final thoughts on this pay-per-view. It happened. This pay-per-view happened. Not a strong card here. The tag match was okay. The tag match was a solid opener. Nothing crazy to write home about. The women's match could have been so much better if Lita didn't tear her ACL. The Intercontinental title match really pissed me off. Lawler versus Hassan happened, and there's nothing we can do to change that. Kanan Snitsky, this didn't officially end their feud. They pulled the plug on their feud in a cage match on Raw because as late as Rumble, they still wanted to do that tag match I mentioned earlier, Undertaker and Cain versus Snitsky and Heinrich, but like it is what it is. So Snitsky got a big pay-per-view match in his career, so I'm proud of him for that. The Elimination Chamber match, fantastic match of the night, really the best thing of the show. So overall, for this ham hog of a pay-per-view, I am going to give New Year's Revolution 2005 1.75 stars. 1.75 stars. Final thoughts. On the back of the DVD, it says bonus matches. There are not bonus matches on this DVD. I'm not complaining too much about it. I'm just saying if you look on the back and it says bonus matches. So Sunday Night Heat was Hurricane Rosie versus La Resistance. And I apologize if my voice is going out here. I've been sick for the last couple of days, so that's why, I'm doing my best with this. Hurricane Rosie beat La Resistance on Heat. Why couldn't that have been an extra on the pay-per-view DVD? But hey, whatever. I got all the interviews and commercials I want. No, but yeah. Oh, don't forget that 60 FPS presentation. Overall, this was a pay-per-view. It happened, and there's nothing we can do to change it. 1.75 stars. And yeah, that's that, ladies and gentlemen. We pulled in a solid 37 minutes here, so yeah, I'll take that. So, with nothing else left to say, I am Michael Jonesy Jones. I hope you enjoyed this little solo project. If you are listening out there, please do comment on whatever platform or device this pops up on, and let us know if you would like to hear more and more of these solo projects. And don't forget, there will be other solo projects coming from Adam and Ryan Remy and Billy, and maybe even some group projects and stuff. You'll hear past pay-per-view reviews. You'll also see like some debates and stuff. You'll see all sorts of crazy stuff with these solo episodes. So stay tuned. What did hold on, I'm gonna look this up. What did Stay Classy. I was thinking of Anchorman. Anchorman. Oh my God, what's his name? Jeez. I'm filling time. Ron Burgundy. Stay classy, America. I came up with that on the spot. Did you like it? Thank you for listening, and have a great day.